Hey y'all, I'm super excited because I ordered the entire Natasha Denona gold collection and my order is here. So we are going to test it out. I'm going to let you know, is this the Natasha Denona eyeshadow formula that I know, love, and trust? We're going to test out the highlighter trio. We're going to test out the lip gloss. This is supposed to be a plumping gloss, so I'm a little nervous that it's going to hurt, but we're going to test it. We're going to see how it is. I'm going to give you some comparisons to other palettes. It's going to be a good time. Let's jump into it. I bought this collection as soon as it launched. I could not wait to get my hands on it. This is the golden palette. First of all, you see this cover? It definitely gets fingerprints on it and it's gonna look messy, but it's so pretty. It's like this waved gold. It is a beautiful neutral golden palette, appropriately named, right? Natasha makes some of my favorite eyeshadows. Natasha Denona is a favorite brand for me, so I'm really looking forward to testing this out, trying it. We also have the golden highlighter trio. It has that same beautiful packaging on it, luxe and cute. I'm into it, and I may be in the minority here, but I love a highlighter palette. I love a blush palette. I love being able to mix and match and create my custom shades. I actually do like to use things like this on my eyes for the quick and easy type of look. So I'm looking forward to testing and trying these. First, we need to try out this gloss. This is the Golden Glimmer Gloss Shimmering Lip Plumper. I have never tried a formula like this from the brand. I really love her My Dream lip gloss. That is a favorite for me. So I have high hopes and I'm really hoping that this is a plumping gloss like the Lawless gloss where it doesn't hurt. Not gonna irritate me because I can't do those extreme lip plumpers. Like, I'm too much of a baby. There we go. I wanted to zoom you in a bit so you could see it better because this is a gloss oil hybrid. So it's supposed to plump and moisturize. I'm intrigued. It's a clear gloss with this iridescent gold like sparkle to it. So let's try. We have just a doe foot. Again, my lips are hydrated, but they have nothing on them. It's a very sheer. It's definitely clear with just a little bit of golden sparkle. More of that shimmer rather than glitter quality to it. This gloss is not painful on my lips at all. I don't like those painful plumping glosses. I can feel a slight warmth to my lips, but it's nothing intense. It's nothing overwhelming. And if I didn't know this was a plumping gloss, I'm not sure I would feel the warmth, or if I just know that. So I'm hyper focused on my lips because it's very slightly warm, but I do think this is pretty. It doesn't feel sticky. It doesn't feel gritty. It doesn't feel thick on my lips. It feels really nice. So I'm happy about that. So far, I did not waste my money on this Natasha Denona gloss. This is really pretty. I do want to pair it with a lip liner though. I'm a lip liner girly. I love a lip liner. So I'm just going to put on a little bit of the Natasha Denona My Dream lip liner and then we'll just use the gloss on top. Let's look at this cheek trio because I love when Natasha Denona does face palettes. I have so many of them. The bronze, the love. I just think she makes really beautiful complexion products. I was down when I saw this. I think these look beautiful. I love this wave pattern. I haven't touched it yet. You see how pretty this is? Let's swatch. Oh, okay. It feels like her nice powder formula. Here is this bronzy shade. Should we swatch maybe like right here? That is really pretty. I'm planning to use this kind of over a bronzer and a blush to kind of like mesh them together would be really pretty, especially with a bronzy toned blush. Of course, you use it how you want to use it, but that's probably what I will do with this one. This shade right here, this center shade, we'll swatch that one here. That's so pretty. I get so excited. Like, I swear, I just love makeup. This is the shade Pearl. We can put that right there. That's beautiful. That's very light. So for me, if these were individual, I would probably buy this center shade would be the one I would go for. I do have a really light highlighter from Natasha Denona I love, but Sun Glow, the center, is calling to me. So let me grab a brush and we'll put these on. We're gonna try all three of these on my face just for the sake of trying as much as possible, seeing how it performs. I'm gonna go in first with the center shade right here, Sun Glow, and I've got that on my brush. I'm gonna keep it back here on the very top of my cheekbone, but I'm not bringing it down low because again, I just want to try to fit several shades on my face. Swatches are all well and good, but most of us aren't going to go like that. We're not just gonna swatch on her face. It's a very creamy feeling powder. It's not like her Hygiene highlighters, if you have those, which I've been loving. It is more of a powder than that, but they do feel creamy. I know that can sound like a oxymoron, a creamy powder, but it's very soft, not as much like a Super Shock shadow, but just very finely milled, really, really nice. I think that looks great. I love this shade. So I'm gonna clean my brush off on my little Sigma switch, and then we're gonna take this lighter shade Pearl, and I'm gonna bring this down a little bit. I have big chipmunk cheeks. I remember getting teased about it when I was younger, these big old bullfrog cheeks. But you know what? They're mine and I love them, and I wanna emphasize them. So I'm gonna bring my highlighter down low. I like doing this sometimes because the light will hit my face even when I'm not like turned to the side, and it will give me this glow, and it will definitely emphasize my little chunky cheeks. Here are both of those shades on my cheeks. This shade is what I would reach for if I'm just doing a highlight and I'm not trying to mix them all. This shade right here I would use more in the winter because I do think it's a little icy for me right now. I think it looks gorgeous though for this look that we're going for today. A little more dramatic, a try on. But I want to use this bronzy shade as well. And I'm going to just pick up a little bit on my blush brush, and I'm going to use it kind of on top of my blush, and then I'm going to bring it down a little bit to where my blush and bronzer meet, and I'm going to press it in. Just, why not? We might as well try it on the face. We're here. I gotta tell you, I was so happy when FedEx showed up with my order because it has been a bit of a rough day, and I'm so happy to be sitting down with y'all, playing with makeup, trying some products. Even if this collection is not good at all, I'm just happy to have a chance to play with a little bit of makeup today and do something fun. I'm here for it. It's kind of fun. Why not? Why not wear all three today? And like I said, if you have a deeper skin tone, you can use these on the eyes. Lighter skin tone, you can use these on the eyes. Do what you want to do. Or, you know, skip this. If you're looking at it and you're like, I'll never use two of those shades, I'll only use one, just skip it and buy a single highlighter. But if you are a palette lover like me and you love to mix and match and create custom colors, I don't think you'll be disappointed. The skin is glowy and I am happy about it. But let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. I love eyeshadow. It's one of my favorite parts about makeup. So when I saw the Natasha Denona Golden palette, I knew I had to buy it. I've been in love with Natasha Denona since I purchased her Metropolis palette years ago. I just fell like over the top in love with Natasha Denona trying that palette. So this is the gold palette, and this is a neutral gold palette. It's exactly what it says it is. I really think this is a smart palette for Natasha Denona to have in her line. I know she had the gold palette before. I don't own that palette, and I know there are a lot of repeated shades, but I do want to show you this palette next to the bronze palette and next to the I Need a Nude palette, just in case you're kind of wondering if there's any crossover, or maybe you have one, you were debating this one, but you want to stick with what you have. I just thought, let me pull out those two palettes and show you. Those are the two that I kind of immediately thought of you might want to see comparisons of in her line. I'm excited to create with this. I've got my lid primed with my Sigma Ignite eyeshadow base, and I'm going to go in with the shimmer shade first. I want to do something fun and sparkly and gold and just really lean into the like neutral glam of this palette. I know we only have one dark matte shade, which I love depth and drama, and I'm always looking for dark shades, but we do have a lot of mid-tone shades. We do have light and we do have dark, so I am appreciative of that. If I have a light shade and I have a dark shade, I'm pretty happy. So I want to start with a shimmer though. I want to start with this shade right up here, this one called Nubia. I always like to spray my shimmers with a setting spray, but I pick the shadow up on my brush first. So I'm gonna coat my brush in my shadow, then spray it, and then put it on my eyes. It'll just help minimize any fallout, help the shadow be as intense as I want it to be. I did set my face with powder, so I don't care too much about fallout, but if I can avoid it, it's nice. I'm gonna start by putting my shimmer on the lid just like that. I'm gonna press it off of my brush first, And I'm just going to keep it on the front half of my lid. This is a pretty light shade, but it's so sparkly. I'm even taking it up, you see, above my lid, kind of into my socket right here. You do what you want to do. You want to keep it lower on the lid for a little less intensity, you can definitely do that. Pull it up like I do. If you have hooded eyes, pull it up above your lid. Like, really let that sparkle show. Try something different. If you don't like it, you can always wipe it off. But I think this shade is really soft and beautiful. Next, I want to go in with this metallic shade. This is called Oro, and it's very, very gold, yellow gold metallic. I'm pressing this shade right out here on the other half of my lid and up into my socket like this. I normally like to keep my outer corner, especially on the lid, right out here, nice and deep and dark and matte. But we're mixing it up today. We're going with the golden, light, airy vibes. I'm even taking this off of my lid a little bit right out here to kind of extend the area that I have. With my deep set eyes, I'm just bringing it out so that it doesn't all get lost right in here. You can see that will kind of cut off the shadow and you won't really be able to see, which can be beautiful. I love to kind of emphasize that depth that I have sometimes. But with these light golden metallic-y tones, I want to pull it out a bit to kind of lift and make me look a little more like open in the eyes. Now that I have that foiled sparkly shade right here and the metallic in the outer part of my lid, I want to go in just with a little bit of this shade. I'm going to put this right kind of in my crease, or my socket as I say, because I'm 36. I have lots of creases in my eyes. I have deep set eyes. I've got wrinkles and crinkles. It is what it is. So I'm going to put it kind of in my socket, above my socket, not really so much below, but just kind of all in here. I'm completely fine with my brush picking up some of the metallic sparkle, all of that from the other two shades, because I want this look to be blended and soft, and I'm good if a little sparkle comes up. If you really don't want to emphasize any texture or anything on your lids, definitely keep the matte up here and not the shimmer. I don't really care. Like, I do have a little bit of texture. It's fine. I want to do this look really blown out and sparkly, so I'm fine with it. I think it's going to be very ethereal and pretty. I'm going to take a little bit of this warm brown eyeliner and put this in my waterline on the lower lashes. I'm going to put it just a little bit on the lash line too before we go in with the shadow. I'm going to use a little bit of this shade right here called Sandstone. I'm buffing this shade right on the lower lash line, letting it kind of go on top of where I put the liner in the lash line, and just kind of dragging it down, and then I'll pick up a little bit more and I'll blend it right underneath. I want to take just a little bit of this shade right here. This is a cream to powder shade. I really like using these underneath shadows, so in the future I'm really looking forward to like putting this all over the lid and then packing a shimmer on top. That's my favorite way to use that formula, but it can also be good for kind of buffing out, you see the pigment, and I just want to kind of go around our entire look, but I'm even taking that light shade and buffing under the lower lash line because I do want this to be a light golden look. We've got to use this white to gold duochrome type of shade for our inner corner. I need that brightness right there. Definitely this really pretty white gold color. That's really pretty. That's giving me exactly what I wanted it to give me. Just a little brightness right in here. Before I do mascara and a lash, I do want to add a little bit of black liquid liner, but first I want to create a little bit of a wing with our dark brown matte shade right here. This is going to be very subtle, especially after I do my mascara, but I just want a little bit of a brown wing right out here. I'm not pulling it way out. It's a very subtle wing, but it's there. And sometimes I think it's those little subtle things we do in our makeup that really kind of elevate the look and make it a little like, ooh, what is that? That's special. That's kind of what I'm going for with this little tiny baby wing. I'm going to put on my eyeliner, just a thin line. I'm gonna do a half lash. I'll be back to kind of show you this palette side by side with some others and give you my thoughts. Here's our finished look with the gold collection from Natasha Denona. It's the great formula. We have the holes in the back. If you're somebody who likes to rearrange your Natasha palettes, you can do that with this. You just pop them out, move them around. I think this palette performs exactly like a Natasha Denona shadow, which I love. I think this palette is really pretty. It's a soft golden palette, of course. It's a neutral palette. It's not going to create just a ton of different insane looks. It's not a rainbow palette. It's a neutral palette, and I can see this being a staple for a lot of people. Now for me, I would have preferred maybe like, I don't want to lose this cream to powder shade right here, so maybe I would give up this shade for like a deep saturated mustard matte. I think that would have been pretty, like a gold matte shade. I mean, we do have this shade that does have a yellowy undertone to it, which obviously I'm into, but I would have liked one more like saturated yellow, deeper color, just to give us a little more variety, because I don't know that we need both of these, but that's not a big deal. I still really like this palette, and in fact, I'm going out of town this weekend. My kid has some events, so we're going to be traveling for a few days. I think I'm going to take this palette, the highlighter trio, the gloss, so I can play with them a little bit more, because we are leaving tomorrow. So I think I'm going to throw this in my bag. I really enjoy it. I wanted to show you a couple of other options, some other palettes that I thought about. I thought about the Ritzy palette from Sigma. They're definitely not the same or dupes or anything like that, but I did have this in my collection, and when I was thinking about kind of what I could compare, I already showed you compared to the I Need a Nude and to the bronze palette, but this one from Sigma kind of came to mind because we do have some kind of gold shades. We have a little more warmth and a little more depth in this palette, but it could be a nice option. I have the mini ambiance palette, so if you have the bigger one, you might pull it out too. This one is definitely more warm tones. I would say Sigma ambiance is more like in between the bronze and the gold, so not a dupe, but you do have some gold tones, you do have some browns, like you have a similar type of vibe, you know, like you have a similar type of vibe, because I'm never going to tell you you need to buy a Natasha Denona palette. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell you my thoughts, my review. I test and try a ton of makeup. I have hundreds of palettes that I have been collecting over the years. I love shadow, and I want to share my thoughts, my experiences with y'all. I'm happy I bought it. I don't regret buying it. I say for me, do I need this? No, but also yes, like I needed it and I'm happy with it. But I just wanted to show you some of those comparisons. And if you're looking for like a drugstore option, I think the ColourPop C3PO palette could be a good alternative if you're wanting to create some gold type of looks, because this has golds, it has browns. I love that color combo. You even have the very light shade and a very deep shade in this one. So, you know, you could always shop your stash or maybe put this on your wish list. I hope those kind of like thoughts and comparisons were helpful to you. I'm really into my look. I will leave everything linked down below. I do have an affiliated code with Natasha Denona. I don't think I said that earlier. You can save 15% on this collection on the Natasha Denona site with the code Heather. I did purchase this palette myself. Well, all of these Natasha Denona things I purchased myself, and I'm super excited. I'm going to be taking this traveling with me, but if you love makeup as much as I do, stick around. I can and do talk about makeup all day.